Today, I want to share with you about a servant leader that have influenced me and how I try to follow their footsteps. Try to follow the footsteps of servant leaders like the ones that I've just mentioned, as well as small people, very trivial people that we might not know them, but they are making a lot of impact on people around us. So, have you met this lady? No, definitely not, because she's very modest and she's very low profile. She was my teacher in my teenage, and I think she has changed my life. Actually, these few days I tried to call her and tell her I'm going to talk about her story, but I didn't manage to catch her. So, I have to let her know that I'm talking about her story without her permission, but I think she won't mind. So she's Jackie Pullinger. She was very beautiful when I first met her. Now she is 70-something, she's in her 70s. But I couldn't find her photos in her 70s. Probably she wouldn't like to post it up. But anyway, this lady has changed my life. She was a music teacher of mine, and she's called Jackie. And she came from UK, England, in the 1960s. She came to Hong Kong. And when she studied in the Royal College of Music, Royal Academy of Music, and then she was in oboe. I think she's very good because she's a conductor in orchestras. But I think she was called to come to the East, to Asia, to serve. And she only had $10 when she reached Hong Kong. And that's why she was teaching in my secondary school in order to earn a living. But on the other hand, she's spending all her spare time, all her time in a place called the Kowloon walled city. I'm going to introduce you a little bit later. It's a place where the poorest of the poor lived in Hong Kong at that time. Now it's demolished. And the reason why I got to know her was because I was an extremely naughty student. I was brought up in quite a well-to-do family. And then our school is quite a good school. It's quite an elite school. But the problem is we have a lot of naughty girls in our school. And then I always cheated in class, played truancy. And at that time, we had parties, just like what you did just now. We go to party every week. And then we go to, during lunch hour, we meet our boyfriends from school next door, things like that. And then, we do a lot of things. And then usually, even at that age, I remember we have makeups during class. And then, anyway, a lot of naughty things. Not too bad, but naughty. And I remember once, 4 of us cheated in class. And during examination, we cheated. And then we were caught on the spot. So there were 4 of us, I remember, and one of them spoke during your last symposium, Rosanna. And then, so 4 of us were caught while we were cheating, and we were brought to this new class mistress, Miss Pullinger. We didn't know her because she was new. So we cheated again by, telling stories of why we didn't cheat and, accident or something like that. And I remember she was looking at us, and she was very calm and cool, and not cool. She was very calm and warm, and she was asking us, hey, it seems that you have a lot of energy. You are very active. Are you interested to help me? I want volunteers to help me to serve in the walled city, Kowloon walled city. I'm working in a little youth center. Are you interested to help us? She said that I'm sure you have a lot of potential and energy to help us. So of course the 4 of us got very excited because instead of being punished, we are invited to do something interesting. So that's why we ended up in helping her. And I just want to introduce to you what is Kowloon walled city. Walled means the wall, W-A-L-L-E-D, is a walled city. And this is a place, you can see that it's quite like used to have a wall surrounding that place. And that was a place that was not given to Hong Kong, because Hong Kong is a colony. And when China gave Hong Kong to the British, this is the only place that they say that they're not giving, because there was a city, walled city, on that particular location. And so this is the only little place that was not given by the Chinese government to the British. The consequence means that the British policemen cannot go into that place because this belonged to China. But on the other hand, China is so far away, and there were a lot of turmoil during the 50s and 60s. And so that place become a place for delinquents, criminals, prostitution, drug addicts, because the Hong Kong policemen cannot go into that area. That belonged to China, okay? So this Miss Pullinger, she was giving a lot of support to the drug addicts, to the delinquents, and of course, she was a missionary, so she was helping them to know Christ as well. And then you can see that later on, during these 50 years, she has been serving the drug addicts. And even the Hong Kong government is asking her and her group to help the drug addicts, to help in their rehabilitation. And she was later on awarded a doctorate degree by the Hong Kong University for her contribution to helping Hong Kong, especially helping the delinquents, the drug addicts, the prostitutes. And she's still healthy and around and still helping a lot of people. So this is the servant leader that has changed my life. Because of that accident of cheating, I'm not asking you to cheat, but fortunately I cheated at that time, and I met her. And I think it changed my life because her warmth and her love and her passion have impressed me. And that's why when I studied in the university in the 70s, I didn't think of any other profession, and I decided to become a social worker like her. She was not a social worker by training, but I want to follow her footsteps. And that's why I myself and also Rosanna who talked last year, both of us became social workers without thinking of other possibilities. And in the 70s, actually, social worker is something unheard of in Hong Kong because this is not a well-respected profession. And then at that time, nobody knew what is social work. So when I chose social work as my profession, I remember many of my aunties and uncles, they keep on asking me, what are you studying? What's that? Why don't you go into something more respectable? Why do you want to do this social work, But anyway, I told them very clearly that my experience in the Kowloon Wall City and my encounter with this teacher have changed my life. So she's a genuine servant leader that I know of. And she has written some books quite famous. One is called Chasing the Dragon, and talking about how she helped the drug addicts to get rid of drug addiction. And she, like Mother Teresa and like many other people, and her what she believed is that we should go to the poorest of the poor. We should not, just stay, away from them, but we should be together with them. We should be with them. And in order to change their life, in order to transform the lives of many, many people, in order to transform community, we have to go to them and to be with them. And that is what I learned from her. So I want to tell you about my dream. I am not a servant leader. I'm just a servant. I'm trying to be a servant, and I'm trying to follow the footsteps of people like Miss Pullinger, like Mother Teresa, because we want to make an impact. And I always think that everybody have a short life. Our life will end somehow. And I remember somebody asked me to do a little exercise by, thinking, what do you want to be put on your tombstone? When you die, when you are being buried, you have a tomb, so there's a gravestone. What do you want to be written there? I remember I did such an exercise. And that's why sometimes I really go to the graveyard and look at, what do people say. And I want to be remembered as somebody that have, been a witness or a help to other people. That's all. Because everybody have a short life. And we will not be remembered by our wealth. And we will not be remembered by our position. And no matter how many PhDs you hold or how many important positions you hold, this will not be remembered. But I think if we are able to influence the life of some people, if we are able to make an impact, and even though our names will not be remembered, but I think if we are able to impact on the life of other people, I think that is something that is worth living already. And so what we did, for example, during the 90s, we spent 5 years, every year, and of course we got some funding. Every year we went to England together with, it's just happened that we have some support from the British Council. So every year, our friends from Hong Kong Polytechnic University, from Peking University, and also from the Ministry of Education from China, and from many like Women Federation, etc. We went to England together, not just to borrow, but we want to learn. And through the learning process, we try to transform what has been done in other countries. We do the reflection, and then we come back with our own realization and come back with our own conceptualization. So through this process of empowerment, we were able to develop a critical mass of social work educators in China who are able and who are interested to start the leadership in China. And all the courses in China were taught by them, not by us anymore. And so in the year 2000, we realized that it was a time, because at that time, China is growing in the economy, and the open door policy is consolidated, and the Chinese government is willing to develop the social work profession, and many universities were starting social work programs in their universities. So we believe that we need to have a critical mass of teachers to teach these programs. Because if we start hundreds of programs in China on social work, but without adequate or without social work teachers who are able to teach, then it's futile. Because you need good teachers in order to have good students and good programs. So that's why our decision at that time is that we are going to train the trainers. That is, we are training the educators, we are training the professors, we are training the educators. So starting from the year 2000, we started a joint program on Master in Social Work. And surprisingly, you can see from this photo that the first cohort, the first teachers, they were quite senior. Some were older than me. You know, they were in their 40s at that time. The youngest were already in the 40s at that time. And they come back to learn because all of them have the passion to develop social work in China. And one of them have already got a PhD, and some of them have already got full professorship. But they are coming to study for a master program. It's a lower program than a PhD program, which they have already got a PhD. So anyway, we were humbled that we were able to learn from these students, and these students were our friends and comrades because they have the dream and they have the vision to serve China with social work. And so that's why we started this journey of working together with them. And these are just pictures of what happened. And precisely because of the fact that they were already very experienced, they were already very high level. They occupy professorship in their respective universities, and they are very respected wherever they go. But we want to make sure that they will not be the ones who stuck in the ivory tower. They are not just the ones to teach theory without practice. We want them to be passionate about their students, and more importantly, passionate about the people in the grassroots. We want them to teach their students the passion to serve. We want them to become not professors that are very superior, but we want them to become professors who have the knowledge, who have the expertise, but on the other hand, they have the heart to serve. They have the experience to work with the people in the grassroots. That's why we have a lot of networking, we have a lot of dialogue sessions, and we have a lot of team building. And also, for example, we bring them to visit, just like what you did in your learning journey. But instead of one day, they spend a whole summer, 3 or 4 months in the villages in order to learn how to serve. Because we believe that they have to be transformed. These individuals, they have to be inspired. They have to be transformed themselves before they can transform society. So that's why we make sure that all of them, even though they are already professors, they have to go through practicum. They have to go through placement or internship for 800 hours so that they're able to know what is happening on the ground. And also during the process of teaching, we also encourage them to develop models, new models that will be useful for China. For example, we place them in different locations. Like this one is a mental health hospital at that time. And at that time, the patients, so to speak, with mental health issues were treated in hospitals. But we believe that they have the potential to be changed. And also we believe that the community or the families should join hands together to help them to rehabilitate, to help them to go back to the community. So we develop community-based mental health programs. And for example, there's a guy that, the tallest guy that was on the back of that picture. He was a doctor in that unit that helped us to provide placement to our students. But he was so impressed by what the students did. And he was so impressed that social work can serve the people with mental health issues. So later on, he became our student. And now he's our advocate of mental health, community-based mental health programs in China. And for example, we also advocate for community health programs involving the local children to serve the handicapped person. And also we develop many programs in the rural area for the rural community. For example, many women in China, especially those in the far west, in the ethnic communities, and they were living a quite sort of distant life from the rest of the country. And also, they were not treated that well by their husbands, and they did not have power in a way to make decisions. But through our project, we were able to involve them and to empower them. And more importantly, we were able to involve them to the improvement of their livelihood through social enterprise. For example, these ethnic women, they do a lot of handicrafts. And I remember we went to some villages whereby we can see that many of the weaving machines were all covered by spider webs because nobody was using them. And so we decided that, hey, can we involve the elderly rural women to help the young ones so that they will revitalize the weaving industry, the cottage industry in the rural village, and also help them to enhance the local handicrafts so that they become marketable, and in the market. So they gradually form co-ops to revitalize their local cottage industry, and they were able to sell their little products on arts and craft, and then they earn this money and put in the co-op, and they establish scholarships for the children so that they can go to school. And this model in Yunnan was later on spread to Sichuan, where there was the earthquake, and spread to other parts of China, whereby we developed models of rural social work emphasizing on social enterprise. So right now, after 15 years, we have developed around 238 students They are all professors from different parts of China. And we have terminated our program because we believe that after we have ignited, after we have started, there's no need to possess it. The most important thing is you empower the local people, you get them interested, you ignite the fire in them so that they will be able to carry on with the pattern. They are able to carry on with the vision rather than us. Because we believe that we are the ones, probably we can facilitate some development, but we will be gone. We can never possess something in our hand. And we must try our very best to empower the local people, to inspire the individuals, so that they have the ability to transform community rather than us, because we can never have the energy to do so much. So now we have already completed the program, and now they are the ones to continue with the effort. And so this is just some reunion pictures that they can see. And I'm very proud to say that many of them are now playing key positions in the country to facilitate the development of social work. But more importantly, I think it is a heart, because we feel that we want to develop people that not only have the position, not only have the expertise, and not only are able to have power to influence, but also more importantly, they have the passion to serve the people. And I can assure you that I'm quite proud to say that most of them have this heart to serve the people. They have the head, they have the hand, and they have the heart to serve the people. So that is the story that we have. And right now, we have developed a center whereby they can continue the work and I can retire soon. And then also, we are now encouraging our friends in China that they should not just serve China. They need to serve their nearby friends as well. So we have developed a regional center, and now we are starting to develop social work education in Vietnam, in Cambodia, supporting or becoming partners in these countries. So this is my journey. I'm telling you I'm sharing you with my story. It's not just to boast of what I have done. This is totally not my intention. But I want to share with you my humble journey, that through this journey of being a servant to my people, I have learned so much through the process. What I have learned is that I can learn that we can have dreams. And these dreams can be small. When I was quite young, I just have a dream that I want to serve my countrymen. I want to serve the people, but I don't know how to do it. So just take the bold step, courageous step of writing the letter, the courageous step of trying to teach, even though I might not be totally qualified, but I try my very best and try to engage other people in the process. And also I think if we are humble enough to learn and to try, we are able to do something, to move something. And also I think if we have the heart and if we have the passion, then usually we will be able to influence people around us. Because sometimes we start a lonely journey with one or two persons in the beginning. But after a while, after some years, when people see that you have this determination, you have this passion, and you are doing things not for yourself, but you are doing things for them, then they will join you. So I'm very glad to share with you that I have a bunch of friends. These friends are the friends that are from Peking University or from other universities in China who have started the journey with me 30 years ago, And actually many of them have given up a lot in order to embark on this journey. Because at that time, social work is something that nobody heard of in China. So when they tell people that they would like to start social work in China, they are being looked down upon. Especially, some of the professors, they have a bright future in their respective discipline or profession. But by joining social work, it's like going down. you know, in sociology or in other psychology or in other professions, they might have a much higher status in China at that time. But if they say that they want to become a social worker, they want to spread social work in China, this is something low, you know, for them, because this is a profession that is not recognized. So actually for them, many of my friends, they have given up a lot of their opportunities in order to help to develop this profession. But I'm glad that many of them are still around, and they are my good friends, and we are always, you know, share together, and we look back and say that, hey, we have done a little thing that is quite meaningful, that we'll be proud of. Even though when we die someday, you know, this is something that we will remember ourselves, and we'll tell our grandchildren that we have done a little thing that we feel proud of. And also, I think in the process of doing this journey, we are happy that we have many, many students who become our partners. Students, even though they are students, it doesn't mean that they are lower. I think students are our partners, and students, to work together with them, if we have the common vision and we have the common dream, then we are partners. So I do not treat myself as a teacher as such, but we treat them as our friends. So I think in this journey over 30 years, where I tried to facilitate development of social work in China, and now actually I'm trying to do something in Vietnam and in Cambodia and in other places as well, if possible. And I feel that this is something meaningful. And if we are doing something meaningful, if we have a clear vision, and if we know that we are doing this for the sake of community enhancement, not for ourselves, then I'm sure we'll be proud of ourselves. Okay, so finally, I would like to share with you my own definition of servant leadership. That is through my journey so far, what have I learned, and what are my conclusions of what is a servant leader. This is only my definition, you know, and you can have your definition some years later. So I'm trying, in order for you to remember easily, so I'm to use A, B, C, D, E for you to remember. Firstly is A. So I think for we have to be aware. We have to be aware of things that is happening around us. We come from different countries. We come from different cultures and different backgrounds. And I think, I'm sure the fact that you come to this symposium means that you are concerned, because you choose the activities to join. And you are spending the whole month, a whole week here in Vietnam, because you identify with the theme of this symposium. And I think this symposium is famous for its advocacy on community engagement and on, you know, helping us to become servant leaders. So the first one is that, A is that we have to be aware of what is happening around us. There are a lot of issues and problems and challenges that is happening in your country, in your respective country. And I hope that all of us should be aware of what is happening and develop the passion, develop the knowledge, go to the people, listen to them, and see what are the needs, and see what you can do as an individual and as a group. So the second one is B. For B, I think we have to have the boldness. We have to be bold. As youth leaders, I hope that all of you will be courageous and think big and aim high. Because by having courage, you'll be able to take the first step. We should go out of our comfort zone and try to be able to make changes. Making changes is, of course, not easy, because it's more comfortable to become a professional, to become a businessman, to become an accountant, to become an medical doctor, to become an engineer with your good office, with your good family, with your good income, with your good car, etc. So, but if you want to fulfill your dream, if you want to pursue your dream, then you have to take a bold step out And you have to step out of your comfort zone and to do something different. And I think courage is different. It is difficult. But I think you have made so many friends here, and you have listened to so many stories here. These stories are highly impactful, the ones that you have listened these few days. And all of them share the common factor that they have the courage to step out of their comfort zone and to do something good, something different that is beneficial to other people. The third one is comradeship, is C. I think we all need comrades. We all need friends. We can never function alone. We can never change the world. We can never fulfill our dream if we are only a loner. We are only fulfilling our dream in isolation because we don't have the influence, we don't have the power. But with comrades, with a lot of comrades, we're able to do so. In my humble experience, I realized that I have a lot of friends. These comrades, we are all working together. We are joking together. We have fun together. We are doing things that make great impact. But on the other hand, we are really good friends, and we can share our ups and downs. And there are a lot of challenges that we encounter in the process. But I think most importantly, we know that we are not alone, and we are warm. It's heartwarming to know that there's somebody somewhere that share your dream together. And even though we are in the, very down, or we are very, having very great problems, but we know that we can be able to overcome our problem because we have friends that share your common views and dreams. And then for D, A, B, C, D, the D is determination or dedication. And I think if we have too many dreams or we have too many agendas at our hand, then we might not be able to pursue all of them. But if we are focused, if we have one very single agenda that we pursue throughout our life, then probably we might be able to do something because we are focused and we are clear what we want. We have a purpose in our life. And I think during these few days, I did not have the opportunity to listen to all these talks. But, I know that they are excellent speakers, and I talked to my students and friends, and they told me about all these stories that you have heard. And I think all of them have the dedication and the determination to serve. Some might be working with, against human trafficking. Some may be working with the street children. Some may be working with prostitutes. And some may be working with youth, in the marginal youth, etc. But all of them have the determination and the dedication to serve the target group that they are very passionate about. And you can see that if they are very determined, very dedicated, very focused, and they know what they want eventually, so they look at the goal, they aim at the goal, and then they work step by step. And eventually, they are able to make such a lot of differences and such a lot of impact on the life of the people that they serve. And I think these stories can be remembered because these people are people with dedication and commitment. And then for Yi is empathy. I think as servant leaders, you need to have empathy. You need to empathize to be able to feel with the people that you serve. You are able to feel with the street sleepers. You are able to feel with those people that are being sold to become prostitutes. You are able to, work with, people that are on the poorest of the poor. So you have to empathize with them, and you should be able to listen to them. You know their story. You know what they think in the depth of their heart. So you have to be able to empathize with the people that you serve. Being a servant leader, these are some of the key ingredients. Firstly, you have to be aware of what is happening around you. You have to be sensitive and you listen. And the second one is boldness, that you have to have the courage to step out of your comfort zone. The third one is comradeship, that you have to develop friendship networks, and you are able to work with other people. Being a loner is no good. You have to work with other people through your networks. And then dedication, and try to focus on your dream, focus on your vision, and do something really good rather than doing 100 things that are no good, mediocre. You focus on something, and you are able to achieve it. And empathy is that you have to listen, you have to empathize with the feeling of other people. And rather than just knowing what you think, you know, one of the bad things about a leader is that you are so determined that you only remember what you want to achieve, your agenda. But I think a good leader is that you are trying to help other people to fulfill their agenda, not your agenda, but their agenda. So we have to empathize and listen to their needs. And foresight, you are able to know what is possible, what is the potential, even though there are a lot of hardships and challenges around you, and are able to give back. And giving back is a joy that you will enjoy. And humility is very important, because being a leader sometimes, even though in the beginning you might be very humble, but through the process, the more important or the more influential you become, then people will flatter you, and gradually you might become proud. And I think we have to constantly learn to remain humble and have this element of humility. And finally, to inspire the growth of other people, that you become insignificant, you become transparent, or you become forgotten. You will be forgotten. But most importantly, to inspire other people, so that the impact that you have is on the people, is in the community, but not you. And so finally, I think this topic of inspiring individuals, transforming community is extremely important. And I really like this theme. And I hope that all of you will be inspired, and you will inspire other people, and you will be able to transform community through this servant leadership, and be able to make an impact. And I hope that in 10 years, 20, 30 years' time, when you think back, then I hope that you say, hey, I have done it. And you, even though nobody knows, but you have done it. And you tell yourself that you are proud of your journey. Okay, I think, I don't know how long I've took.
My name is Mutunda Marichi. I'm coming from the University of Zambia, in Zambia. I must say that I appreciate this lecture that you just gave us, Professor. I'm coming from Zambia and Africa in particular, where this issue of servant leadership is really not in existence. If it's there, then there are very few examples, like Mandela, who after being imprisoned for 27 years, became president and ended up reconciling the whole nation. A single person like Mandela has inspired Africa. But many African countries find themselves in a situation where leaders are not selfless. So I would like to ask you, Professor, what is it that we need to possess? What is it that you can maybe tell African leaders to do in order for them, for example, not to stay longer in power? We've got so many leaders, for example, in Africa who are staying for decades in power because they feel they are the best, or they feel like there's no any other leader who can actually take up the leadership of the nations. So what is it that we need to possess in order to provide this particular servant leadership that you just talked about? Thank you.
I'm not qualified to say anything about Africa, not qualified to say anything about Hong Kong or China, etc. But I think, you know, I think you are the one, you are the future. And, you know, friends, there are many African students around. And I think it's impossible or not useful to just think that these leaders are no good. You should become the future leader that will be able to exemplify all these qualities. Because by stepping out, you know, of your comfort zone and trying to become a leader, Leaders can be in political leader, can be NGO leader, you can be in the teaching profession. Leader can permeate, in different fields. And I hope that there can be more servant leaders around us, and they will be able to go into different professions and try to influence the culture, the leadership culture in your own country. Or gradually, you can influence more. I'm sure you can. I think that is precisely why Kim and this organization is trying to train leaders to become future servant leaders, because we believe that the more young people can understand this concept of servant leadership, then you will be able to go back to your country and change the culture of leadership. And I'm sure we can start from you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
So much.
Microphone number 2.
Good morning. My name is Jason Cheong. I am a representative from Malaysia. First off, I want to show my appreciation about your title, Servant Leadership. It really hits my heart because I was from a military school with the tagline of Serve to Lead. It echoes what I have learned. Thank you very much for that. My question is that what kind of hardship will we be facing when we are bringing a group of students, a group of passionate people, to a community to be trying to help them in a way? Thank you.
You mean what kind of difficulties? Or?
Difficulties in terms of organization, in organizing, meaning administrative tasks, yeah.
Okay, so probably I can share with you some of the experience of my colleagues, in doing service learning. And that is exactly what we try to do. That is bringing our students to the community and to help them to become socially responsible and to be passionate about the needs of the people on the grassroots. So I think we have a difficulty because when we first introduced the idea that every single student in my university, undergrad student, have to go through service learning, it's a free credit subject, with 40-something hours. So they have to attend classes, go to the community, reflect, etc. So it seems to be easy, but actually it's extremely complicated. Firstly, they have to have the motivation, because if it is a mandatory subject, it's not chosen. So they will have this rejection. They feel that how come you are forcing me to do volunteer work? So you have to make it extremely interesting and make them feel identified and motivated. So what we did is that we firstly involved many teachers, who are the stakeholders, and ask them to develop subjects or courses that are very interesting to the students. For example, for optometry, they might be developing projects whereby their students will go to do eye checking in the rural community, in the orphanages for those with HIV/AIDS. For example, for engineering, they might be developing programs whereby students develop solar energy panels in the rural villages so that they can ignite electricity for the different villages in Rwanda, in Cambodia, in Myanmar, etc. For example, some students might be helping students in the rural area to do robots, construct robots, etc. So, for example, hotel tourism, they might be going to the disaster area to help them to reconstruct or redevelop the livelihood through development of the little like bed and breakfast in the local community, etc. So they have to think of interesting ways that sort of link the students, because instead of teaching, you have to involve the students and make them interested. And also in the process of doing so, involve them rather than just developing a curriculum and you do it, So I think you have to involve the teachers, you have to involve the students, and also involve the local community so that the things that you are doing, the volunteer work that you are doing, will serve the really local needs. And they will become excited rather than feeling that, hey, they are just serving you because they are giving you the opportunity to learn. So I think you have to engage all the stakeholders, be creative, but most importantly, I think, is you have to zero in your project on the local needs and needs that are to be that the local villages or local people will feel that your coming is exciting. You are going to do something exciting, creative, and needed for them. And I think by doing so, your students will be very happy because they are going there and they feel that they are needed. They are creating an impact rather than just doing some volunteer work in order to fulfill some marks or grades.
Thank you very much.
And we'll take our final question.
Hello, my name is Yelnor. I'm from Kazakhstan. And thank you for your great speech. I was really inspired. But I have one question. You said during the speech that we must have only one dream and one aim. But what if I have, let's say, several dreams and aim in mind, and all of them seem equally important for me? So how to choose only one dream and only one aim?
I have to explain a little bit. I think it's not one, but focus on one cluster or one area. So usually, I also have a lot of dreams. For example, I like social work, but on the other hand, I like entrepreneurship. And also, I think I'm very interested in working with different groups of people, like elderly, like young people, etc. So it can be very, you can think of many dots, many points, many areas of interest. But I think what I mean is that you have to cluster them. Try to cluster your interests so that you can do that particular project in your life and then focus on that direction. But it doesn't mean that you only have one small little dream, that is, you only work with young people, delinquent, and that's it. You can gradually enlarge it. For example, for me, my passion, like 30 years ago, I really want to serve my mother country, especially because I didn't have the chance when I was young. So I always have this fascination that I want to do something for my country. That's it. So I use social work. But gradually, through this process, 30 years, 40 years, I gradually become involved in international social work, in regional and international social work, because I believe that we cannot work in isolation. Because, for example, for social workers, if we only work in Hong Kong or work in China, and we can be very narrow-visioned, and we are only confined to our own boundaries. And I feel that by involving or networking and understanding people from other countries, I learn much more. And then you can leverage on their resources as well. So we are helping each other. So my dream gradually enlarged, but it's still focusing on using social work education as a catalyst of change. That is, I believe that through social work education, we can gradually evolve a lot of change in the community and bring social change and social betterment to the community. So gradually my dream sort of evolve and expand, but it still have a focus, So forgive me for not making it clear. It's not just one dream, one time, that sometimes you have to gradually evolve or change. But for me, I think we can cluster, all the things that I would like to do together in one direction, but you have to be focused and you have to be clear about what you would like to do,
Thank you very much.
And dreams will change too. Yeah.